high school, I set out on an 8-year-long adventure of working and traveling all around the world. It was a gap year that turned into 8 years, and I was living an extravagant lifestyle. The first place I moved to was Australia, and that's where I became a pole dancer, and that's what I was doing to make money for most of my 20s. But I knew that I needed to find some more ways to make money that would carry me into my adult life, and that's where Concordia came in. I needed a serious glow up, and I kept track of my progress in a paper diary and through video diaries.
I'm feeling really overwhelmed by everything, getting up so early and being organized and creative and having energy. I need to learn to be more assertive and less nice. Don't feel like I have to please everyone.
And I called this series of recordings my Glow Up Diary. So let's take a look at a couple pages from my diary before I started the program. So on the left was who I was at the time, and on the right was the me that I was manifesting for the future. I was trying to become that girl. Now, if you're not familiar with the that girl trend from social media, well, she's the one who has her whole life together, mentally, physically, emotionally healthy, eats healthy, goes to the gym, meditates, manifests, and she does it all in this aesthetic, organized way. That girl maximizes her potential, and everyone wants to be that girl. Me especially. I was embarking on a journey to becoming that girl. To become that girl, there were a few things I needed to do. I needed to get cultured. I needed to communicate with conviction. I needed to become tech savvy, and I needed to do some personal development. Even though I had a lot of real life experience dealing with other cultures, I didn't know any theory, so I learned that in Edu 454, and I was able to practice it in TESL 326 with the internship at the House of Friendship. Then in 2020, I was able to get a job through Concordia as a language and cultural guide for a Japanese university who came to Montreal to practice and learn English. This was actually my first paid teaching job, so I was really excited to do it, and I was really glad with the rating that they gave me as a cultural guide. The next order of business was competency 2, to communicate in a variety of contexts. I learned about this in TESL 426. I uploaded a video of myself reading Voices in the Park by Anthony Brown aloud onto YouTube, and I got 13,000 views on it. And after that, I got hired to act as a teacher for some online learning modules for adults learning English as a second language. And that was probably my favorite teaching job that I did throughout the program. In TESL 331, I was able to practice teaching English using a variety of different computer programs. I took the pronunciation exercises that I learned in TESL 221, and I was able to apply it to a private tutoring job where I helped a student from Brazil with his pronunciation.
Cup.
That was perfect. Great job. Okay, so now it's going to get a little more difficult. In my latest high school internship, I was teaching Sec 4, and we did a unit on young entrepreneurs. So I used YouTube, iMovie, and Zoom to create and record some video interviews with young Canadian entrepreneurs, and I asked them to give advice to my students.
I'm kind of focusing a lot on my Instagram just for the future. I think I'm going to get a lot of business from that. And so I'm starting to do reels that are comparing the most expensive home sold in North Vancouver versus the least expensive home sold.
I think Instagram has been major. I post on my Instagram every single day, just content of the dogs. And that's, I think, what people are paying for a lot of the time is like, they just want to see their dog having fun. But that just goes to show, like, for any small business, we have all these tools that are free to us.
Competency 12 was one of the most important competencies for me. I practiced it in TESL 488. Specifically, we had a project where we had to create SMART goals. And for my first internship, I chose the long-term goal of having more success with one of my worst classes of all time. I had to try to find a way to evaluate their oral communication skills, but it was really hard to make them participate. I came up with a unit on card games, and the students went crazy for it. They loved it so much. They didn't even want to leave English class, and they were asking me if they could have the cards so that they could play at lunch. This is one of my biggest successes as a teacher because I feel like I engaged the unengageable. For the next internship, I decided to choose a more personal SMART goal, and my long-term goal for my next internship was to lower anxiety. So I tried to sleep more hours per night, and I tried to lower my resting heart rate. Through the goal of lowering my heart rate, I learned a lot of new strategies for self-regulation, such as this journaling app, where you can track your thought processes and sort of gain more control over your thoughts, stop negative thinking. This was just one of the tools that I used to make sure that I was always at my best, and that's what the glow up was all about. It was becoming the best version of myself, and I learned that in order to do that, I had to take care of myself first. Finally, this long ago page of my diary is no longer the future me. It's just me, thanks to my glow up.